It's 6:40 in the evening, standing at a convenience store counter, an energy drink sweating in one hand, a $5 bill in the other. $5 is the exact price of not having to make a decision. You don't think about it, and by tomorrow morning, you won't even remember the transaction happened. It's a sum of money small enough to completely vanish without leaving a mark. But imagine it's the next evening, and you're 25 years old. You walk out with nothing in your hands, sit in your car, and move that same $5 into an index fund holding a sliver of the entire stock market. You automate it to happen every day. Looking at the screen, your balance says $5. It looks absurd. You feel a bit ridiculous, like a person planting a single seed in a barren field and calling it a farm. There is no thrill and no instant win. The $5 leaves your pocket either way. You are simply choosing whether it ends up in a landfill as an empty wrapper or quietly accumulates in an invisible system. This graph illustrates the first decade of this process, from age 25 to 35. This is the period of pushing the stone, where your constant effort vastly outweighs the financial reward. After a full year of doing this every single day, you have put in $1,800, and the market has handed you roughly $75 while you slept. A coworker tells you he makes $75 in a single afternoon. He's right. In this early phase, the math makes your discipline feel useless. The temptation to speed up the timeline is immense. A friend texts you about a crypto coin up 400% in a week, laughing at your slow, boring fund. But extreme short-term speed usually ends in a steep drop, leaving those fast money accounts wiped out a few months later. When the broad market eventually drops, headlines scream panic, and your balance falls by a third in a few weeks. Surviving this requires a very specific, rare skill, the ability to be completely bored and do absolutely nothing. You let the number fall and you keep the contributions going while the fund is cheaper than it's been in years. Those first 10 years don't exist to generate wealth. The math is simply too small for that. Instead, that decade serves as a behavioral gauntlet, proving you can sustain the habit long enough for the numbers to eventually matter. By age 40, you enter phase 2, the crossover. Look at how the relationship changes at the 15-year mark. The growth curve accelerates and finally breaks through, crossing permanently above your contribution line. Up to this point, you were the one doing the heavy lifting. But here, the math flips. For the first time, the total amount of money the market has generated for you surpasses the total amount you actually fed into the account. That spring, a coworker gets laid off, facing his first missed paycheck with no cushion behind him. Meanwhile, your account holds over $50,000. Your money has quietly taken on a second job that you never had to assign it. That daily $5 has quietly built a wall between you and the type of bad year that ends in total panic. Moving into your 50s, the math enters phase 3, the runaway train. The small straight line of your daily deposits is completely dwarfed by the sheer scale of compound interest, creating a massive gap in your wealth. The mechanics are entirely different now. The account's existing size is so large that a strong year in the market generates more organic growth than you could possibly add by hand, even if you doubled your $5 daily deposits. You start reading headlines about how a comfortable retirement is impossible for ordinary earners. Your peers discuss the end of their careers like a terrifying cliff that they are being marched toward. You view it like the weather, something that will arrive whether you worry about it or not. You aren't pushing the stone uphill anymore. The thing you built is now larger than the building of it, and you have become a passive passenger to a self-sustaining machine. At age 65, the results stabilize into 3 final figures. This chart shows your $500,000 balance. You actually contributed just $73,000. The remaining $458,000 is pure growth, money you never worked for or watched arrive. That same year, your old coworker retires from the exact same job with the exact same salary. Over those 40 years, his daily small comforts added up to the exact same $73,000 spent out of pocket. You drank it, scratched it, and ate it, yielding 0 growth and 0 cushion. You didn't get lucky, and you didn't pick a secret winner. The dramatic difference in your 2 lives relies entirely on exposing the smallest possible amount of money to the longest possible timeline. There is no shortcut. This $500,000 balance requires skipping a trivial purchase 40,000 times in a row, paying the quiet price of time. $5 is a sum too small to miss, which is why it stays invisible to almost everyone. It sits on the counter every evening, a choice that feels like nothing until you look back 40 years later. You are never going to feel the $5 leaving either way. You only ever get to choose what those invisible dollars are quietly turning you into while you aren't paying attention.